So Jake Hager or Jack Swagger went on Chris Van Vliet's podcast to talk, and there's an interesting clip here, so we're gonna listen in, and then I'm gonna show a social media post, reacting to that clip. All right, let's listen in.
Anyways, I always find a way to say this every day, so I think everyone should too. Say fuck Tony Khan. I could tell that he didn't want me there. He offered me like a year and a half. I was like, bro, I just did Stadium Stampede twice. Like, don't act like Stadium Stampede didn't put AEW on the map. I was in the debut episode. I was the big spoiler, and you offer me 18 months after all that. So it was that and the way that he started running the business that it really, like, he wasn't a professional. Like, after all the Punk shit that went down, the boys got together and we had a meeting, and this was the boys only, no office. All right. And we're on like Sting's in there, Show, Jericho, Bryan, Mox, they're all standing at the front, kind of like talking us through this shit. And lo and behold, who comes into the room storming in? Daddy's Little Billionaire. And he's like yelling at us because I think it was Dax and Cash and Wheeler didn't want to come in. They didn't like the storyline, so they refused to come to TV that day. And he was like, listen, I'll put you in a 6-man 6 minutes before the show, and you're going to do it.
So Dax has replied back on X saying, Cash and I were at the all-talent meeting that was called by Bryan, Jericho, and Mox. Tony Khan never interrupted. Cash and I have never refused to show up for work. And, I dare say, look at our schedules since Collision. We've been the most consistent talent on both shows every week. I'm not sure where this is coming from. He also did another post where he texted Jack Swagger, Jake Hager, and Hager, apologize if you're upset. I thought it was you two. Didn't say it was definitely you two, but that meeting happened. And then he was like, don't say you think. If you got to say, you can't just go on podcasts and say stuff like that. And he apologized. I shouldn't have said your names, especially when I didn't know for sure. So yeah, more some AEW Hager drama.